Hey, y'all. I've always believed that the shows that we binge and the movies we love are more than just entertainment. They're a window into who we are and who we might become. They're a place to talk about what truly matters. Welcome to Culture First, Democracy Always. I'm Tasha Pierce. Think of me as your favorite auntie who could talk about the latest sci fi flick 1 minute and then get to talking about voter suppression the next. On this podcast, we break down pop culture from the movies and TV shows you love to the books you can't put down to talk about power, talk about freedom, and talk about survival. We'll connect these stories to our current politics and the constant, everyday resistance we all face. Because culture shapes who we are, and democracy is the freedom to be that person. Culture first, democracy always. All right, let me set the scene. Picture this, y'all. Somebody, could be you, sitting on the couch with a phone in your hand, thumb doing that Olympic level scroll like it's cardio. You've seen it, you've done it, I've done it. The expectation was that this tech would connect us. It would make the world smaller, friendlier, a big old global block party. But here's the reality. What if all this scrolling isn't connecting us at all? What if it's building walls around us? Not brick and mortar walls, but invisible ones, built by algorithms that think they know what we want, and maybe they're right. But in giving us exactly what we want, they're cutting us off from what we need. And that's today's big idea, y'all. This episode is not about AI staging a robot apocalypse. Just like last episode, it's not Terminator, it's not Skynet. This is about something more subtle, something more, in a lot of ways, insidious. It's about how AI controls us in quiet ways, shaping our feeds, reinforcing our biases, and creating echo chambers where we only hear ourselves. And once we've locked inside those bubbles, democracy itself starts to crumble. Because democracy isn't about simple agreement. It's about the messy, frustrating, and absolutely necessary work of human disagreement. So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to step inside a fictional bubble, Doctor Who's Dot and Bubble episode, to see a sci-fi mirror of our digital lives. Then we're going to drag that mirror right up to our noses and look at what's happening on social media and AI-driven feeds in real life. Finally, we're going to explore what happens when empathy dies and how much danger we're in when algorithms decide who gets seen, who gets silenced, and who gets saved. So buckle up. The bubble is about to pop. Part 1. Life in the Bubble. Let's start with this story time. If you haven't seen Doctor Who's 2024 episode, Dot and Bubble, whew, let me tell you, it is a chilling episode. Now, here's the setup. Our fictional society lives inside these perfect little digital bubbles. So imagine walking through your city, but never really seeing it because all your attention is inside your bubble. Every single piece of reality, from your social interaction to your daily routine, all of it gets filtered through this AI called Dot. And Dot is like your best friend, your calendar, your news feed, your Insta, your Uber, your grocery list, everything, life, all rolled into one cute, chatty little interface. Dot makes sure you're fed only the things that keep you happy and comfortable. That sounds good, right? Who doesn't want a life curated to their own tastes? No bad vibes, no awkward arguments, no discomfort. Except outside those bubbles, the world is literally being eaten alive by monsters, y'all. Yes, monsters. These people are so plugged in, so curated, they don't even notice that the person standing next to them is being gobbled up. They're sipping digital lattes while Godzilla's cousins are devouring the entire block. And then, here comes our main man, the doctor, waving his arm saying, "Hey, look around, you in danger, girl." And what do the bubble people do? They laugh, they mock, they actually roast the doctor for being so negative. Now that's the genius of this episode. Dot isn't a villain twirling his mustache. Dot is just doing the job it was designed for, which was keeping people comfortable. But in protecting them from discomfort, it's also protecting them from reality. And when reality finally crashes through, these folks are helpless. They don't know how to do anything outside of their digital bubble. And that's the first big metaphor. A world that filters out your challenges, filters out discomfort, filters out the difference, isn't a safe world. It's a fragile one. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that Dot wasn't just filtering out discomfort. She was also filtering out difference. In fact, when the doctor shows up, the citizens are shocked because he's a black man and a complete outsider to their world. Yes, the doctor changes from series to series from time to time. And in this iteration, the doctor is a black man. So because he's an outsider, they're shocked by him, even interacting with them. We're going to come back to this point later because it's a huge clue about what's really going on in this world. Part 2, our very own bubbles. Now, I think y'all trust me. You know I'm going to bring this thing together. So let's drag that sci-fi story right into our own timelines. Because guess what? We already have our own dots. We just call them Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Facebook. Pick your poison. And here's how our dots work. The algorithm notices what you like. You click on one cooking video, you get 500 cooking video. You linger on a political rant a little too long? Welcome to that rabbit hole. That little For You page is not just a random conglomeration of videos. It's a perfectly calibrated machine designed to keep you locked in, feeding you more of what you already enjoy, what you already agree with, and what you already believe. Now, at first, that sounds like convenience. Like, thanks, TikTok. You really know I'm obsessed with air fryers and retro R&B. But zoom out. This system also learns your politics, your fears, your suspicions. And then it keeps handing you content that doubles down on those things. That's the danger. You're not just scrolling anymore. You're reinforcing your worldview, narrow as it might be, with every swipe. The algorithm is quietly narrating your perspective until your feed becomes an echo chamber. And here's the kicker. Nobody designed this to be evil. Just like Dot, these platforms were built to maximize what? Engagement. Keep you happy. Keep you online. But in doing so, they're teaching us to tune out anything that doesn't match our vibe. And what happens when everyone's in their own little curated world? We stop hearing each other. We stop believing each other. We stop empathizing with each other. And that, my friends, is why democracy is on life support. Because democracy requires the opposite: seeing, hearing, and wrestling with perspectives we don't like. That is why this country has taken the fast track to authoritarianism. Because enough people are living in their own little bubble, and we no longer see one another as people at all. Part 3. The end of empathy. Let's go back to Dot and Bubble, because this climax to this one is brutal. Of course, the AI is watching as its humans, supposedly quote unquote good people. It watches while the humans mock and dismiss the doctor's warnings, even while the monsters close in on them. And Dot makes a choice. It decides these humans are not worth saving. It literally abandons them, leaves them to be eaten alive. And when the doctor offers those people safe transport off their doomed planet, they would rather die than be rescued by a black man. They were so programmed by their narrow worldview that death was better than admitting the most qualified person to save them was black. And you're sitting there like, wait, what? The AI turned judge, jury, and executioner? Now, let's tie that back to us, because you can see where this is going. In the real world, this isn't always about some app deciding who lives or dies, but we are letting algorithms decide whose voices get amplified, whose stories get erased, whose humanity we actually see. And that's terrifying. Because once empathy breaks down, once we stop recognizing the humanity in others, racism, authoritarianism, cruelty, all of that flourishes. When the feed shows us only people just like us, the other side, whoever that might be, becomes invisible, or worse, they become demonized. When you can't see somebody as fully human, when you can't even really believe that they exist or that they deserve to exist, democracy doesn't just weaken, it collapses. That's where we are, y'all. But that's the lesson in Dot and Bubble. That's the lesson that has been screamed at us in 2025. Not that AI is malicious, but that we're in danger of becoming the kind of people AI will write off as unsalvageable. So let's bring it on home, y'all. Doctor Who gave us a fictional nightmare, people trapped in their bubbles until it's too late. But we don't have to wait for the monsters at the gates. We're already living inside digital bubbles of our own making. The irony is that bursting them is not going to be a tech solution. It's a human one. The most radical act of resistance in this moment isn't building a new app. It's stepping outside your comfort zone. It's seeking out voices that challenge you. It's talking to people you might not agree with. It's listening, not to win the argument, but to understand. Democracy doesn't thrive in sanitized feeds. It thrives in the messy, complicated, uncomfortable space of human connection. So, here's my question for you this week. What's one thing you can do to burst your own bubble? Maybe it's reading an outlet you usually scroll past to hear the other side. Maybe it's calling that relative you know you disagree with. Maybe it's just sitting with discomfort instead of clicking away. Because when we step outside the bubble, we're not just saving democracy, we're saving our own humanity. I hope this episode gave you a new way to look at the stories around you. It's so easy to feel alone in this work, but remember, there's a whole community of grown folks out here connecting the dots. If you're not already subscribed, my newsletter drops every Thursday and provides a deeper look at these themes. It's like an email from a friend who's just a little obsessed with connecting culture and politics. You can find the link in the show notes. And also, let's connect on social media too. I'm on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram, and I just love continuing these conversations with you all throughout the week. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for the next episode. And I'm Tasha Pierce. Culture first, democracy always.